Welcome to the Chaste Dating Series presented by Wardens of the Cross. This episode is about some basic rules to follow when within the courting process to avoid emotionally harming or compromising your significant other. Within the course of this installment, we shall discuss avoiding compromising situations, avoiding close friends of the other gender, and also how overusing the word love could negatively impact a relationship. Courting is all about coming to know one another and to see if one another is compatible emotionally, and to help with that, here are 3 things we have found which you must completely avoid in the dating process. Before we get into 3 things to avoid as to not emotionally harm your date, it is important to do one very important thing from the start. State the obvious. Dating is not marriage, and as such, there are physical boundaries which must be met to avoid fornication and mortal sin. The way in which a courting couple finds whether they are compatible or not is by seeing if they are mentally and emotionally compatible, not whether they are physically so. When 2 people worry more about being physically suited for the other, it leads to disastrous marriages, children born out of wedlock, and the abuse of the marital act outside of the marriage bond. 2 people must be emotionally and mentally suited for one another to be a good husband and wife, and it is for this reason that talking about it is so important. The first thing to avoid when courting is having very close friends of the opposite gender, of course excluding your aspiring other. It is considered highly improper after marriage to have an exclusive and close friend of the opposite sex, as it could be an excuse for cheating on the spouse, and it certainly takes away from the one-on-one time of the married couple. Thus, if one is considering or is actually in one of the phases of courtship, it is best to let either your sweetheart become close with the friend as well, or just slowly close off and ease back from this friendship. These exclusive friendships can cause much harm and jealousy during marriage and the courting period. For example, a man and a woman are courting, but the man has a female friend who his sweetheart has never met. The man in this situation confides in this friend and spends much time with her, and the sweetheart in the situation will become somewhat jealous, if not justly hurt and offended as well. The man should be confiding in her, the sweetheart, and spending time with her, rather than the other female. The matter is made even worse if the friend is an ex-girlfriend of the male, or if he has ever crushed on her. The boyfriend in this case should be a little more considerate and pay attention to the feelings and emotional caring of his darling. It wouldn't matter if he swore that there was nothing between them, because it is obvious that there is something, even if this little something was just a friendship. It is prudent to be exclusive while courting. This doesn't mean that the 2 of you should have no friends at all, but rather that these friends should be the same gender as you, or they should be mutual friends. Before moving off of this topic, I will point out to the guys the easiest way to cause your girlfriend to punch you, break down in tears, or even leave you altogether. And this is by telling her that another girl is pretty. Trust me, even if you don't hear about it, she has either fretted over it and possibly cried over it as well. A woman needs to know that her man is faithful to her and loves her more than anything or anyone else. To say anything about another girl, even if you are saying that your chosen one is prettier than that girl, scares her. Why? Because it alerts her to the fact that you have been thinking about the other female, and she panics thinking that you are being either unfaithful or she needs to worry about competing with this other woman for your attentions. Never, under any circumstance, comment on any other specific female. Not ever. If your sweetheart asks you if this or that woman is pretty, just smile, give her a hug, and say that that person is nothing compared to her, which will be the honest reply if you are a faithful man to your darling. While men tend not to be as emotionally hurt by similar occurrences, a woman should be courteous and loving to their sweetheart and follow the similar rule. If you truly love one another, you will strive under all circumstances to not make your significant other feel rivaled or threatened by another. The second potentially harmful situation is being alone with your sweetheart or fiancé at all, especially at night. Studies show that boys reach their sexual peak at the age of 18, while women reach theirs at about 35. This means that, while the girl might think she is innocently snuggling with her beloved boy on the couch and giving him a slightly passionate kiss, the man's mind will undoubtedly stray to more bestial passions as they become more intimate. A simple kiss on the lips can trigger 1,000 sensations and impure passions in the man, leading him to crave more intimacy and the actions reserved for wedlock alone. This can be helped by both the man and the woman by simply keeping a chaperone present at all times and avoiding compromising situations. There are many ways this situation can be a relationship-ruining experience, and can even ruin someone emotionally for an extended amount of time. The man could feel as if his sweetheart is leading him in the wrong direction. He could fail to control his passions, and bad could lead to worse, or he could completely succumb to his impure desires and it lead to mortal sin for the both of them. Even if a couple is dedicated to remaining chaste and pure in a relationship, they will fall if the chance arises and the temptation becomes too great and unchecked. This, in turn, can lead to a couple breaking up and finding new roads. It is for these reasons, as well as others, that a courting man and woman should never be left alone, but rather always be under the close watch of a trustworthy chaperone or chaperones. The third and last situation which we will look at today will certainly raise some eyebrows. This situation is the overusing of the word love in everyday life. The phrase, "I love you," is highly overrated. Literally anyone can say "I love you" to a friend, and it has no meaning at all. It has almost become a manipulation tool, and is often highly abused and very overused. The word love is the only word in the English language used for showing deep caring and feelings, and to use this word in reference to simple friends or even inanimate objects slowly corrupts the word. Now don't get me wrong, loving someone and telling them so is extremely important. But what is even more important is to be able to say that I trust you. When you trust someone, you tell them things, you communicate well, they confide in you and you confide in them, and you can naturally be yourself around that person. You should be marrying your very best friend, and the person you trust the most, not some girl because she's cute, or some man because he has a large income and can offer you many material goods. You need to have an established rapport, to have confided entirely in them, and to be able to look at them in the eyes and say, I love you and I trust you, and them be able to believe you entirely. Similarly to being overused when referencing other people, love is also an overused term in terms of referring to inanimate or abstract objects. If you say that you love bananas, hiking, video games, knitting, or etc., it slowly wears down the strength and value in the word until telling your chosen one your true affection for them creates no emotional impact. The English language only has the one word to truly describe affection, and to overuse this word, love, in reference to everyday objects and everyday people highly devalues it. You do not love muffins, you like muffins. You do not love this or that actor, you like them. The only person you should actually and truly love is your sweetheart and future spouse. And to say otherwise is to ruin the word and, in a way, minimize and manipulate your significant other and their feelings for you. To say to your loved one that you love this or that person can leave a lasting mark and pain inside of them. This word was a word which they believed was set aside specially for them, and then they learn that you say that you love all your friends. You may not have meant anything by it, but it leaves a sting in the heart and can possibly emotionally scar them, as they will always wonder if you mean that you love this other person as a friend, or if you love that friend as much as you love them. In relationships and dating, never say that you love other people, and try to avoid saying that you love inanimate and everyday objects. The feelings that you have for your sweetheart should be much stronger than your feelings for Tom Holland. If this isn't the case, you need some serious help. Relationships are very sensitive and delicate. They are either the beginning of a future, or they can quickly become the ending of not only a relationship, but also an age-old friendship. If two people are truly in love and they truly wish to be married, then they must do their best to not harm the other emotionally as well as physically. We have gone over 3 things to avoid as not to harm your sweetheart, but there are many, many more subjects to avoid and situations to avert. In a relationship, you must ensure that the other knows just how much you love them without the included physical expressions, and that you do truly care for them emotionally. Being emotionally compatible is the most important topic in a marriage, for it holds together the man and the wife, and lets them manage their household and raise their children in peace and loving solidarity. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you agree with what you heard in this content, give us a like. If you have a comment, question, concern, or anything else, please feel free to comment below and we'll get back to you. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay up to date on all of our most recent content, and go to the link shown on the screen to check out our website at www.wardenofthecross.weebly.com. We hope to see you again. God bless.